Every trap has a different application. For example, the broadsides, they fire cannonballs that pierce and bounce. Now, the way you want to utilize this trap, like the most effective way to utilize the broadsides, is if they have another broadside trap on a wall 2 to 3 tiles from where this one is placed, so that they keep bouncing and firing off of each other as the husks are coming into the location. And what you want to do in order to pair with the broadsides is have a wall that's 1 high so that you can stick wall dynamos on it to deal extra damage from the electricity from this trap unit while the cannonballs are all bouncing around. And there are multiple different ways and trap combinations you can do. Like, for example, the ceiling drop trap pairs really great with wooden floor spikes because the wooden floor spikes on the ground slow them down, and you can have your ceiling drop traps 3 tiles high off of your structure that you are going to defend for your objective, and they will drop all the way down and keep tumbling. They also do very well on hills. Then, of course, you have your ceiling electric fields. Your ceiling electric fields targets enemies in a 3x3 tile range around the trap. Some people like to put these 2 tiles high. I don't do that because I feel it's very ineffective and it doesn't concentrate the damage, so I don't know why people do that. The ceiling electric fields are most effectively used 1 tile high. For example, you would want to have a whole bunch of ceiling electric fields nearest to your structure that you are defending, and in front of them you would want to have ceiling gas traps. And the reason why you want to have ceiling gas traps in front of them is because these cause affliction damage, and they're going to afflict the husks, afflict them to do sapping damage over time. So you start by sapping them with the ceiling gas traps, and then you deal out the base damage with your ceiling electric fields for AoE in order to take care of the hordes. That's what you do. And if you want to have directed damage after the wooden floor spikes, then you stick down the retractable floor spikes. Or you can go a different route and use a combination of the floor freeze traps, the ceiling gas traps, or you can go a different route and use the floor freeze traps and pair them with the ceiling gas traps, and then you have smaller 1 tile high walls, like a third wall. You make a third wall so that it's the lowest one, and then have wall dynamos. You can have a floor freeze trap freezing the husks. Then you can have the ceiling gas trap afflicting them. Then you can have the broadsides bombarding them, while you can have these wall dynamos zapping them with electricity. And all of that damage is being dealt at once if you build your structures right. Be creative with your trap combinations based upon the terrain that you are using. Like if it's a hill, use the ceiling drop traps. If there's a choke point, use broadsides and floor freeze traps. And then throw a wall launcher to send them careening back down the hill from whence they came up. Send them back down there. Use the wall launcher to launch them off cliffs. Send them back down a hill, that sort of thing. The floor launchers can also be used in a way. Like, for example, you build an arch, and then you make that roof panel kind of like how the stairs are, and then you build an arch, and then the stairs over it, and then you stick in a floor launcher on the floor, and what will happen is that they will bank shot off that slanted roof that you have built over the arch, and that can send them careening either into a pit or off a cliff, whatever. And now, of course, we have the sound walls. The sound walls are useful for a stalling application. For example, you want to use the sound walls to stun them and delay the husks while your other traps deal out damage, or to buy yourself some time while you seal up a choke point or deal with a choke point. It's all up to you. And now we move on to the anti-air traps. So the anti-air traps are used for 2 different applications. One being the elimination of propane tanks that are thrown at your structure on the ground. They can shoot those, but the primary use of these anti-air traps is to shoot down projectiles coming from flingers and lobbers. Your campfire trap, I don't really use these. A lot of people like to use them for MSK, but essentially you stick this down in order to heal yourself. The tar pits are very useful for stopping smashers, and say you have a pocket horde, like a whole bunch of husks coming at once, and you've got a choke point. You can place a tar pit, they'll all go into the tar pit, then you shoot the tar pit, it catches them on fire. Merry Christmas. And now, of course, you have your wall darts. Your wall darts are useful when you have a situation to where you don't need 2 broadsides, but you still want to deal direct damage to the husks. These shoot 6 darts at enemies with a large range. And then, of course, you also have the wall lights in order to stun and delay the husks in practically almost the same application as the sound wall. Anyway, now to cover the wooden floor spikes. The wooden floor spikes are a very cheap way to slow down the husks, and these are most effectively used in pairing with broadsides and also ceiling drop traps. For example, you can lay down a whole bunch of wooden floor spikes to slow down the husks, and then 3 tiles above those locations, you can have the ceiling drop traps raining hell on them down hills, over a choke point, whatever you want to do, okay? The way you trap in this game is going to be determined directly by the situation, the location of the structure you need to defend, and the terrain that you are on. You should always build and trap based upon the terrain you are on and the position of your defending structure.
Enough blue glow. You got this, Commander. like a bad storm is in the forecast. I need to pull you out before it gets there. You have 2 days. Good luck.